Hey guys, so today we're going to be making a project video with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So we're going to create a countdown timer and I'll give you some of the project overview. So it's going to contain HTML for structure, CSS for styling, and JavaScript for functionality. As we know, these are the main tasks of the languages. So what's going to be the features? We're gonna add an input field for the user to set the countdown timer. It's gonna be a website, it's gonna be a countdown, we're gonna set it. You could stay tuned for that. There's gonna be a start and reset button, and then there's gonna be a countdown display that dynamically updates the countdown whenever the time's gonna be changing. It's gonna go down obviously, and I'll do it in minutes because hour is gonna be really hard. So then we'll add a reset functionality to stop the countdown and clear the display. So we'll add all of these stuff inside. So let's just jump into our HTML code. You see that I created three different tabs over here. I want to file new text file. One is index.html for our HTML code. Then there's style.css for CSS code, and script.js for JavaScript. We gotta link all of these. You gotta remember to link all of them. That's one of the main things. You gotta link them. It's not just writing the code, it's to correctly linking all of these codes together so it knows, okay, we're trying to write something. So let's get right into it. So we'll add our boilerplate, and over here in the boilerplate, you see in the title, we could change our title. We'll say timer because it's a timer, or you could say countdown timer. That's the real thing. It's a countdown timer. So below the title, we gotta link our style.css. So we gotta link it. You gotta remember to link this is style.css. So we linked it. Now CSS, our CSS script, styling script is linked with our HTML. It's linked already. Linked. I didn't write anything, but it's now linked. I'm gonna save it, and now it's linked already. I have to link the JavaScript one. I'll do that at the end accordingly after writing everything before closing the body tags. So now over here I could be writing, I'll just make it closer over here. I'll go one back. Over here I'll be writing all my code, all my HTML code. So let's get started. I'll enter a div function over here, a div section, and I'll say, okay, div class, and I could add a container, and I could close my bracket accordingly. So you see the div is closed down. So let's add an h1 over here. Inside the h1, I'll say countdown timer. I'll add a countdown timer. It's going to be written in h1. It's a heading one, as you know. So I added another div over here, and I'll say div class. And over here, I'll import the section. Import section. I'll close the bracket accordingly. You see the two divs are closed by itself. So this is why I love Visual Code Studio. So now let's add label for, we want to be adding every single thing in minutes. We want the timer to be in minutes because hours is going to be really long and seconds are going to be really less. So minutes is the best one. So we'll close this and then we'll say set time in minutes. So everyone knows that we're setting time in minutes. I'll close it over here. I close the label tag too, and everything is closed. So after writing the label tag, we'll add an input type over here. And the input type would be number ID equal to minutes because we want to add minutes inside. And then we'll say placeholder. We'll add a placeholder that enter minutes. We want to enter minutes, so we could close the bracket accordingly. So yeah, we closed our bracket accordingly. So now you see that after this we closed our div function, and we'll leave one open we're just gonna close one and we're gonna leave one opened for later. We'll just do this. And over here we'll add another div class. One second. Yeah. I want to add another div over here. So after this you could say div class, and we could say okay, we want to add buttons inside because we want the buttons to be working perfectly. So now I'll add buttons, button ID. Now I have to write the ID of it is going to be start. That's going to be the button. The button's going to be written start on top of the button. Now I'll add another reset button. As I told you in the beginning that there's going to be two functionalities, start and reset. So now I'll add a button ID over here and I'll say reset. This is going to be the functionality. I'll close it and over here I'll write reset. So this is going to be the other functionality of it. You see that the div is closed. So after the div is closed, we'll add another div ID over here. This div ID is going to be the countdown. The countdown of the timer is going to be happening because of this. So below this we could add the paragraph tag, and over here in the paragraph tag I could say 00. That it's going to be displaying this. It's going to be displaying in the paragraph that okay, this is the time what we're going to be adding. Now you know before this div we're going to be writing our script tag, and over here script, and now we're going to source it. Source is script.js. As you know, script.js, we add script.js and we're gonna close everything, every single thing. Now we're gonna close this tags too. This is perfect. This is the perfect way how to add your CSS and JavaScript accordingly. You could save this as our first web page. This is going to be happening perfectly. You could reveal this in File Explorer. This is our index.html. Now you see this is a countdown timer. Now you want to add CSS inside, and then we're going to be adding JavaScript because you see over here, if I do 5-6 minutes, it's not going to work. Nothing's working. It's not even resetting. It's not even going to start. It's just going to work. Manually going to work. So that's why I want to add functionality and I want to make it look really nice. I want to make it centered too. So let's just go over here. Let's go in our style.css and now let's make the styling to make our website look pretty and beautiful. So let's just get right into it. So let's write body because as you know that how we write our CSS, we're just going to be writing body. Then we're going to be saying font family. What we want the font family? We want Arial, sans serif. As you know, you could add whatever you want. Any other thing. This I think it has some issues with it. I'll just say Arial. You could add any one, whatever you like. So let's add the background color over here. Background color. I'll just use custom numbers. F F O F 4 F 8. You could add custom ones, or you want to add any other things, you could add other ones. It's just all according to what you want to use. F0, F4, F8, yeah, it's white. So now we could add the color inside, whatever color you want. I could say hash 333, I want to keep it this color. Then I could say I want to change the display color, display size. I could say I want to add flex inside. You could add whatever things you want. So now you could say justify content. You could say center. Now you could align items. I want to align them in the center. You could add height in it. Height, I could say 100 VH. And now you want to add margin. If you want to strictly say that I don't want to add margin inside, so you just gotta write 0 over there. So after this, I could add container. Over here, I'll be writing the text align, text align it in the center. I could align the text in the center. After aligning the text, I could add background color. And I could add the background. And I could say hash FFF. You could add any color, whatever color you want. I could say padding 20 pixels to 30 pixels. Every single thing. You just gotta do, if you practice once or twice, you're gonna understand how much pixels to use, how many things to use. Then everything is gonna be easy for you. You're not gonna have any mistakes in it. So now I could add box shadow. I could say insert. I wanna insert 4 pixels. And I'll say 6 pixels. Then I'll say the RGB. Yes, perfect. So this is the container. Over here we could add the H1, the heading. How do you want to display the heading inside? So I could say font size. I could add the sizes to rem. This is going to be the font size, margin, bottom. It's not compulsory that what I write, you gotta be writing those same things, you gotta be using the same things, you could be using whatever you want. I always suggest people that try to add more stuff, add different stuff, because the more you explore, the more you learn. So you're gonna be a better website creator and a better developer like that. And remember, practice is the key to success. So now we're gonna be adding input section. We'll add an input section over here, and inside the input section, I'll add margin bottom 15 pixels. Now I'll add the label. Inside the label, I'll add font. I'll add the font size, which is 1 rem. Now I'll add the input over here. Width is gonna be 100 pixels. Padding is gonna be for 5 pixels. Font size is gonna be 1 rem. One sec. Okay, font size is gonna be 1 rem. Now I'm gonna say margin left one, and I could just say 10 pixels would be enough. Then I could add a border. The border is gonna be 1 pixel solid. Yes, I have the perfect color. Now I could add border radius. I could add border radius, which is 5 pixels. Now you understand every single thing. It's just how you want it to be displayed. Now the last 3 stuff is, first is buttons. Add button over here. And over here you could add padding. First of all, I'll say 10 pixels to 20 pixels. Font size. I could add it 1. Then I could, after the font size, I'll add margin inside, which could be 10 pixels. 10 pixels enough. Color. I could change the background color to yes 00. Oh yes. Yes, oh 000. So now it's working. So that's the color what I want. Now I could add border inside. I'm gonna add a border. Let's say none. Border radius. I could say 5 pixels to this cursor. I'll add a pointer as a cursor. So this is button. So after the button, I could add button hover, which I could add this color as a background color, which is light blue color. Now I could say the countdown because when it's gonna count down, the font size should be 2rem, and the margin top should be 20 pixel. Font weight should be bold. Yes, this is perfect. After reviewing the code, I just saw that there were some background colors that were not approved. So there's 77 and the BFF is capital. So I used this 2 times. And then there were some space mistakes. I added some mistakes, extra spaces, which were not allowing me to save it. So now it's saved. It's connected with our HTML, our CSS is connected. Now the last thing is JavaScript. So let's get right into it. So now I'll just add comments inside, which is gonna help me understand everything. And if I'm reviewing my piece of code later on, it's not gonna make any mistake. So now I could add constant over here, and I could say minute input. I could add minutes as an input, and I could say get element minutes. I could say constant. I want to add start button. I want to add a start button over here. So I could say the document query start. No, I want to don't use document query. I want to get element by ID. And the same thing over here. I want to get element by ID. So this is better to get an element by ID. Now I'll add the same constant and I'll just say it's not a stop button, it's a reset button. And over here I could say reset as well. So it knows that it's a reset button over here. Now if I wanna pause it, I could add another button for pausing, but I'm just gonna use start and stop. Start and reset. Now I could say constant countdown display. I could add a countdown display over here and I could say okay, document get element by ID. I could say get element by ID, and over here I could say countdown. I could say countdown over here. One second. I'll say countdown over here, and I'll add another query over here. Dot query selector, not display. I'll just say P. This is gonna be my query selector over here. So now we got all of our elements by identifying them. So now I could say interval. We get them from interval. Now I'll add another comment over here, and I could say to store the interval It's just an adding another comment. It's just extra. It just helps you out. Now I could, if I wanna replay it, now I could say start countdown. So you have an understanding that when do I use every single element. So the start countdown function is gonna be over here. Start, right, start button together. Then we could add event listener. We could add an event listener over here. And then we could say whenever we click these buttons, it's gonna be working. Now we could add constant minutes, and we could input the numbers. We could input the numbers accordingly, and it's not that long. We should have been making it that long. We could add the minutes like this. Now we could add another over here, validate the input, validate the input if, yeah, is nan minutes, then we could please enter a valid number of here, or else we gotta return. After this, we could add another comment over here, and we could say convert minutes to second. So we could add this over here too. So we're gonna say time let time left. We can say time left. It's going to tell the time left is 60 seconds. Now we could add another comment over here, which is update the countdown every second. We could update the countdown every second. Now we could add countdown, and we could add intervals inside countdown interval, and we could set interval as this. Then we could add constants inside constants. So we could add minutes as the math floor, and we're gonna say the time left. So we could say constant second time interval. We could add the second time interval as well. So now we'll add another comment over here. We can say display the time in minutes seconds format. It's gonna display the countdown in the minute timer format. So we could say countdown display. We could add the minutes and seconds accordingly. So then we could say time left, and we could add the time left over here. Now I could add another comment over here, and I could stop the down when time left is 0. So we could use over here if time is less than 0, clear time interval. It's gonna do it. And what is it gonna display? We could add something countdown clear countdown interval, and we could say countdown display. What is it going to display in the text content? We could add another thing that whenever that's going to happen, it's just going to say times up. It's going to say times up in it. So I could close the bracket accordingly. Now we could close all brackets. If there are any tags to be closed, we could close them accordingly. So yes, that's gonna be perfect for now. And then we could add a reset countdown over here too. We could close this bracket over here too. So now we'll add the last comment is the reset countdown. So over here I could add the reset button over here and add event listener, click by ID. It's perfect. This is a minute interval. Everything's gonna happen like this. So now you could just review your code, check out the tiny mistakes you made, and then we could save it. We could upload it, and we could see the output. What is it? Now let's save all of these ones, and I hope that you understood how everything works. So now let's go on our web page, and now let's see how do they even look. So let's reveal it in File Explorer. Let's go over here, and now you see the difference. This is what we made in the beginning. This is what we made now. Now let's enter time. We could enter time manually with the keyboard. You could add as much as you want, but if you want to use this, so you could use this. You could add 1 minute. Now we're gonna start it, and when is it gonna we could start it, you're gonna click once. The thing is, when you're gonna start it, when you're gonna write a number, just click it once. It's gonna happen automatically. Now it's gonna start counting, and I could show you the end clip now. So now we see there's 3 seconds left. Now let's see what's gonna pop up. So now it's gonna say time's up. As you saw that we wrote time's up, you could write any single thing inside. Go back in our code and we could write over there booyah or whatever you want, and everything's gonna be changed up. So I hope you like this. So now you see the difference. It's from this to all the way over here. I hope you liked it and you understood all the code. I'll give all the description down below, comment down below to get the code too. But I'll let you know every single thing. It's going to be in the description, so do check out the description, and I'll make sections for each and every single thing, so it's going to be easier for you to understand. So thank you for watching. Stay tuned for the next series, which is going to be probably SQL. So stay tuned, subscribe, and comment down below if there's any questions.